I'm Simon King, and this is What's Wrong, and you're listening to this. I'm betting you're listening to this as well as watching it, because if you're watching this with the sound down, you have no idea what the fuck's going on. But if you are listening to this and watching this, you're doing it on YouTube, youtube.com/thecitizenstrange, which is where you can find video versions of the podcast. So it's no longer a podcast, it's a podcast. It's a big podcast, right?
Yeah, and we're going to cut.
Yeah, we'll start again.
We'll do that again.
But much like the war in the Ukraine, we're back. And it just keeps going.
Yeah,
and we took a little bit of a hiatus, and then we returned, and I had a
It's not a war, it's a special operations.
Exactly. And I wanted to say that not one of you fuckers messaged and asked about my poor ankle. And I feel very sad because I know there's at least 3 of you out there now because I've seen the viewer numbers. And they said that there's a margin of error of 3. So it could be 0, but I'm pretty sure. So if you want to ask me about my ankle, which you should, if you care, you can send a letter to www.skpodcast@gmail.com. My ankle is fine.
Simon, how's your ankle?
It's fine. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the caring Mikey Greenwood. And
you want to keep your ankles elevated.
You want to keep your ankles elevated. If you know what's good for you, if you want to get ahead in show business.
Exactly.
Speaking of elevated ankles, ladies and gentlemen, Carl Turnbull, my guest!
Hello, everybody.
We are very excited to have Carl on. Carl is a hilarious stand-up comedian, a very, very funny dude, a good buddy of mine and Mike's. And also, you've not been on the podcast before, so this is your first sojourn into the What's Wrong with Simon King podcast.
Yes, it is. Yeah, usually I don't do podcasts because I'm not a big talker.
Yeah. Well, you came to the wrong place.
No, I came to the right place. So they're like, hey, you want to do Simon King's? I'm like, yeah, sure, he can rattle off for about 20 minutes, and I'll be...
It's like doing coke with an auctioneer.
Yeah, exactly.
That should be the podcast.
I think it's just a coke with an auctioneer. I think I just bought 4 houses.
But he did move about 400 tons of coke.
I did move a lot of coke. Yeah, you move it quick. Hey, if you auctioned coke, I bet you there'd be a lot of people just like, were you putting your hand up or were you just like shaking? What's going on? Because the meth auctions later. You can't just who bids for this? Just the coke auction.
Just teeth shavings coming out.
How's your uncle? I've never done coke before, but I think that if I did it, I would light on fire.
Either have I. I've never done cocaine either. No,
I don't do it. I don't do it. It's not a thing. It's not. It's one of those things where it's a drug that like a lot of people do, and it seems to be like it was very big in the 80s. But so was Flock of Seagulls. I'm not into them either.
Yeah.
And so, well, I mean, I don't know. I ran so far away. Was that them?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. That was a banger. That was a banger. So
Yeah.
there's probably like a gram of coke out there I would have really liked, but the rest can't take the album. Yeah. I can do coke off the album, but I can't listen to it. But I've never done it. I've just never really appealed to me because I don't want to first of all, I don't want my jaw to break because I figure it probably would with the speed I would talk, or I would become crazy introverted.
Yeah, I always stayed away from drugs because I got an addictive personality. So I knew never to start. I was like, I'm never going to go down that path.
You're one of those people that like it because I know people who like can do every drug and they've done them all. Doesn't seem to bother them all. Like they can just fucking get addicted.
That's what they say, and then they go home and they do drugs and listen to sad music. Oh, it doesn't bother me at all, man. I
hate when people do drugs.
It's just temporary, you know. And then they go home and they're sad and they're listening to like Stain.
I hate when people do drugs and listen to stuff. Anyway, crack a beer. It's time for the podcast.
Oh, look at this guy. He's stealing from Bill Hicks. Stealing from Bill Hicks over here.
Oh man, I wish I was stealing from Bill Hicks. You gotta love a grave robber, right? Just in there, just going through, just looking for his book. What's this? It's just angry rantings about how he's a poet.
I did that once, but I wanted his black shirt and his cowboy hat.
The Hicks shirt?
Yeah.
You can get this from Johnny Cash, he lived a lot longer.
Yeah, true enough.
Yeah, anyway. This podcast, as you know, doesn't make any sense. And,
I felt like Johnny Cash should have done like a Selsun Blue commercial.
That would have been fun, great.
Yeah. Never wear the black or without the blue or something.
That'd be great if
I'm Johnny Cash. Never wear the black without the blue.
Because Doug Stanhope used to have that bit about he died too soon, where they talk about like, Jimi Hendrix died too soon or Kurt Cobain died too soon. He's like, did he really? How do we know if it, if it hadn't, if he hadn't lived long enough, it wouldn't be Everybody Loves Hicks? Yeah. Like we don't know, right? Yeah. So like I think about that. I was like, what if Johnny Cash had lived and just doing reverse mortgages?
He would have been doing right now. He would have been doing an album with like a club disc jockey guy. Yeah, I can't remember the names. Who's the big one? Like Swedish House Mafia.
Swedish House Mafia. He's just
and I killed a man in Folsom.
I like that wet ass pussy. I like it very much.
Actually, this works out because you just got that new impression, right?
That wet ass pussy, and I like to be all touched.
Carl just put the mic closer.
I'm sorry.
No, my fault.
You just came up with that impression, so that I saw that video on Instagram. Hit him up on Instagram, folks.
Hit me up on Instagram. That was my anti-social justice warrior Johnny Cash video.
Yeah. Now you could do like Swedish House Mafia.
Yeah, Swedish House Mafia. You could do
Calvin, whatever his name is.
Harris.
Yeah, Calvin Harris.
Took my horse to the old town road.
It's summertime.
So you think
summer?
Do you think Elvis would have ended up being that? Like Elvis would have ended up being like.
Well, he did. Didn't they remix his Las Vegas song in like in the early 2000s? Like
a little less conversation,
a little more action, and it actually worked.
That guy sounded like a horse.
Yeah, he did.
Elvis?
Well, that's because he was eating peanut butter and banana sandwiches.
Hold your hand flat while you feel a little. Like a sugar cubes. I wonder if you could make a horse a pop star and no one would know. Like if you just made a horse, if you just made
it's
like
called Lady Gaga.
Shots fired! If you took a horse and you were like, okay, horse, look, a tiny horse too. You have to be a tiny horse. It has to be a near the human-sized horse because you couldn't have like a 7-foot tall. You'd be like, how's this giant 7-foot tall?
I believe you're talking about a pony then.
A pony. Yeah. Okay, you say a pony. Is there a rapper named Pony? There should
Probably,
be.
Yeah.
What about
Little Pony?
What if we Little Pony?
Little Pony.
My Little Pony. just a pony with chains around its neck, can't even lift its head up.
What's the fan group called on My Little Pony?
Bronies.
Bronies, yeah.
Yeah.
They could have that. My Little Pony and his bronies.
My Little Pony the rapper.
Yeah.
I like the idea of that.
Yeah.
What would their song be?
I don't know.
I never watched the show.
I don't know any. I took myself to the Old Town Road.
If anybody ever said they watched My Little Pony and is doing rap about it, you probably want to call the authorities right away.
I don't know much of it. See, we talked about Saturday morning cartoons a little while ago, and I know what was your favorite cartoon growing up, like in the morning?
I had tons, man. I had the Rambo one. There
was a Rambo cartoon?
There was a Rambo cartoon?
Yeah.
I think you're a lot younger than me, though, aren't you?
Well, there was, like, when I was growing up, they would play replays of old 80s shows, so I would watch Rambo. Another one of my favorites was Ronin.
Ronin?
It sounds like
the De Niro movie?
No, there was like a cartoon where it was like 4 Ronin, and it was from Japan.
Yeah.
It was a show that was awesome. I was into Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, okay. Dragon Ball I get. But I thought you meant like the De Niro movie. They just made a cartoon version.
Yeah, no, I loved watching it.
Stretched to 5 episodes even.
I loved watching it every morning. Got my attitude right.
Just squash Ronin every morning.
I would canvass the school before I would go in, know my exits, know my infill and exfill.
Fucking homeroom. Fucking homeroom.
Come on, kiss me. Come on. Kiss me.
Wait, fucking homework? I don't fucking do that.
Yeah. Take a picture of my wife. Take a picture of my wife, all right? Now I'm going to take off my pants and I'm going to have sex with her. Take a picture of her. All right? That was a weird scene in the movie.
I like those cartoons.
Yeah. He's like, I'm going to post this on a porn site later, all right?
Put it on the internet. I'm going to put it on the internet for you. I don't think, what was your favorite Saturday morning cartoon?
Oh, easy. X-Men, the animated series, and Spider-Man.
Oh, wow.
Batman was good.
Batman was, but it wasn't on the Saturday morning docket.
How about Samurai Pizza Cats?
No.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Jesus, I'm throwing out
Samurai
ones.
Pizza
I remember
Cats.
Samurai Pizza Cats. Samurai Pizza Cats, yeah.
That was great, man. There were cats who were samurais.
Yeah.
And they delivered pizza.
Yeah.
I want to know more about this
almost like there were some sort of reptile that had done it before that enjoyed Italian food products.
You know what? Rip off of Turtle?
You know what the sad thing is I never made that connection.
Yeah.
It was right after Ninja Turtles, too. It was like right after.
Super Salamander Subway studs. Junkie Jiu-Jitsu gerbils. Junkie Jiu-Jitsu gerbils.
I gotta look up these Samurai Pizza Cats.
Samurai Pizza Cats was awesome, man.
I mean, it's funny because you could get away with a lot for cartoons back in the day because nobody gave a fuck. They're like, just put on. Look, basically, we're just looking for a way to sell action figures.
Oh my god, I do remember these guys.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Samurai Pizza Cats. Yeah,
Samurai Pizza Cats.
That's way past my time, but I remember that.
And I remember jerking off to the female one.
Yeah, there you go.
I was really into pussy early on.
Yeah. That's some sexy pizza cake.
They used to make me feel nauseous, this cartoon, for some reason.
Well, I mean, you don't like Asians. There's that.
Hey. Oh.
Can you imagine that's like you're just racist and that's how it comes out? And then they'll just cut that out and they'll get Shane Gillis.
Of course they're taking the pizza industry now. We all know that's Italians.
I I heard that. I ordered pizza the other day, and I ordered from Domino's for some strange reason, best known to myself. There's a multitude of good pizza places in this city, but for some strange reason, best known to myself, I ordered Domino's pizza, and it was not as shit as I remember. And it could have been that I just really wanted pizza.
Did you not watch their commercials?
Did they have a commercial?
They're like, hey, guess what? It's not crap anymore.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Like, we're so sorry. We let it go really bad.
That's amazing.
Like, at one point, we were selling you cardboard, and you were eating it. But we realized you want pizza again.
Didn't Ford do that? So like, hey, that whole up to 2008.
Yeah. Whoops.
From about 1968 until 2008, that was not a good time.
Yeah, that was bad.
We are trying now. I should do that for my next album. I should be like, look, guys, I didn't realize you wanted jokes. I was not doing that. I
haven't done that yet in life. I should start trying soon.
Just try.
From now on.
But Mike, look at me. Trying will get you nowhere.
And Mike, really look at him.
Yeah, deep
really, really get to know Simon.
And then drink this Flavor Aid. Anyway.
What was your Saturday morning cartoon?
I'm trying to think about I think I'm old enough that it was Transformers and it was like G.I. Joe. I was a G.I. Joe guy. Right. And then what I never understood about G.I. Joe was it was the same as the A-Team. It's like all that ordnance. They're shooting so much and nobody fucking dies.
All that ordnance?
Like every A-Team episode, I know we're going to prime time, there was like thousands of rounds expended. And it was always people shooting at the ground or missing things. And I was like, how fucking, these are an elite group of soldiers and they can't kill anybody?
Well, my question
You're going to get a lucky shot at it.
My question is how do you follow a leader with a voice like that? You know, Cobra Commander, he's like, get them.
Yeah, I know.
You get the G.I. Joe.
Like, he seriously is an incel.
Like, he's got a lisp. What's going on there?
I think Cobra Commander was the first incel.
Yeah, he was.
Either that or he was allergic to whatever metal that mask was.
Yeah.
And it really fucked. And that's why when he wore the weird cloth one. Do you think that was like his formal? Is like, hey, people are coming over.
Yeah.
Formal.
Let me get dressed up. I've got a big date with Scarlet.
Not so fast, Cobra.
G.I. Joe. Did you ever see years ago, they took Fensler Films, they took all the G.I. Joe PSAs, and they have you ever seen it? Oh my God. Fensler Films, if you look it up, they took the G.I. Joe PSAs, which are always at the end of the commercials. It was like, hey kids, don't play in that construction site. And they redubbed them. And it's one of the funniest fucking things. I can't remember the sailor guy.
I gotta watch this.
I can't remember the sailor guy with like no sleeves and a hat. And he's at a skate park.
Which was them blatantly pushing the gay agenda.
Well, at the skate park, he's like, look at their little hats. Hey guys, come here. I'm gonna teach you about safety around skateboards. Put your helmet on.
That's why I wasn't allowed to watch G.I. Joe.
Yeah, it was really fucking funny, dude. I remember that being the first time I encountered something on the internet. So this is like 99, 98. This is the first time I encountered something on the internet, and I was like, oh, that's very funny. Like, and that's something that I had not seen that you could do.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, I was like, this is fucking hilarious. Yeah. What was your first thing that you saw on the internet that was like, that's fucking hilarious?
Oh, when they beheaded that reporter in Iraq in 2003.
Pretty funny, right? It was pretty funny.
That was the one that was pretty funny there.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to top that.
It's the gurgling that gets you.
Yeah, I know. And the nightmares. The first thing that really made me laugh?
Yeah, just like the first thing you were like, oh, I got to show everyone
I don't think I was able to because QuickTime would always freeze. Yeah, fine. And then I'll reload and reload and reload and then eventually give up.
Do you remember bum fights?
Bum fights. I remember bum fights. Yeah.
I believe they call that lesbian porn now.
Do you remember the guy on Bum Fights went on Dr. Phil dressed as Dr. Phil?
Oh, yeah, that's right. He did.
Yeah, he did.
He did, yeah.
And he's like, if you're a shyster too, and he's like, I'm dressed up, and Dr. Phil was fucking not impressed.
So he went on the show.
You need to get your life together.
You can't come on here dressed like me.
Oh, so he just fully did a Dr. Phil.
Yeah, he just showed up dressed like
Dr. Phil. Same suit, same mustache,
same bald wig, the whole deal. Showed up dressed as Dr. Phil. Yeah. And I don't like bum fights, but I do like that.
That is a good play.
And I was like, look, if bum fights got us here,
it's like, why do you want to pay for bum fights? You just go outside.
Yeah,
right. You throw down a
just look down there, guys.
Just throw it empty on the ground and just wait.
Well, and a lot of people don't know that bum fights became UFC. I think we don't realize that.
Yeah, I know they don't.
To me.
Did you have any like childhood shows or movies you were like ashamed for your parents to know that you watched or anything?
My parents would not let us watch Beavis and Butthead.
Beavis and Butthead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we would like sneak it in if they ever left the house.
I love Mike Judge though.
Yeah,
Mike Judge is great.
It was great, but it was like now watching it, I'm like, what were they afraid of?
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where it was like at that time, like in the 90s, there was a particular like the Beavis and Butthead were at like the pinnacle of that. Oh, everyone's wearing black and listening to music and watching these shows, and Beavis and Butthead was fucking harmless. It was harmless. It was the SpongeBob of its time. I don't think I had anything particularly like because I also
SpongeBob was constantly trying to get laid.
Yeah, SpongeBob. Yeah, SpongeBob's a fucking dog.
You ever seen Beavis and Butthead?
Oh no, just never seen SpongeBob.
Oh, neither have I.
No, I was saying SpongeBob loves to get laid all the time. SpongeBob's out there all the time. He's got like his shirt open.
This is how out of shape I am. Just sitting in the chair, my toes are going numb. Carl Turnbull, everybody.
Well, I didn't want to tell you about our new special chair, but
we are sponsored by compressor socks.
We are sponsored by compressor socks. Hey, suck those toes up. All right, it's a long flight.
Copper Fit by Brett Favre. He made that company by embezzling money from the poor people of Louisiana.
There you go. Look at that.
Can you elaborate on that?
Did you guys not hear about that?
No. Brett
Oh,
Favre.
it turned out like him and the governor like siphoned money away from like the welfare fund to make a volleyball stadium for Brett Favre.
A volleyball stadium?
Yeah, like they took like $5 million.
There's a lot going on there. There's a lot to unpack in that. So Brett Favre,
back to Copper
not a
Fit.
volleyball player.
That's where Favre is.
Brett Favre, not a volleyball guy.
As far as college. As far as college.
So he's like, you know what people will never suspect. If I fund volleyball, they'll think it's the wrong kind of ball. It's not going to work.
What a weird thing to take money from to supply like a volleyball.
The governor and him went to the same college.
Yeah.
The weird thing is people on welfare love to play volleyball. It's the thing they do.
It's very cheap.
It's very cheap.
All you need is shoes and a ball and some good friends.
It's easy to do, right?
Some
You're out
good
there,
friends.
and if you got sand, all the better.
Better.
Oh, yeah.
You see it all the time. You see it all the time on the beach.
Was it an inside or an outside of volleyball place, like a sand volleyball, or?
I hope it was inside for $5 million.
For $5 million. Yeah, imagine if they was just a big tent.
Yeah,
it's the big tent.
It's just the net.
Roof. Wow.
Yeah.
Beach.
That's I didn't know that about Brett Favre.
Yeah, he might be going to jail.
Really? For that?
Yeah,
fair enough.
All for volleyball.
He's retired though, right?
Yeah,
Oh, well, who gives a fuck?
Won't affect your
It's true.
fantasy.
You know what? That's going to be a great time in prison for him. He's like, hey, you guy, let's throw the ball. Yeah, when I throw the fucking ball. All right,
But now you know he's going to be edited out of There's Something About Mary. They're going to edit him out. Now the movie's not going to make sense.
Because Brett Favre's not in it.
We're never going to figure out who Favre was. Favre.
Brett Favre. I don't know anything about football, American football much. You're a football guy, though, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, I love
big
football.
guy, yeah. Who's your team?
Steelers.
And you have to say it like
Why,
that.
why Steelers? I got to ask.
Oh, because my dad and I used to watch it when I was a kid.
Oh, okay, fair enough. That's
Yeah.
good. It's like generational.
Yeah, he'd make chili and we'd watch it.
No, that's nice.
Yeah.
Chili and watch the Steelers.
Are you going to do that with your daughter?
Steelers and chili.
Are you going to do that with your daughter?
No.
No, she's not even a Steelers fan.
No, I don't want her getting into football.
Why?
I don't want her to be one of those ladies.
Just all pink jerseys. Just running the tailgate.
No, I want her to be like into other things.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to get the kid into some sports because I was never raised with sports, really. Shocking. And, I mean, other than murder. But that's not really a sport because...
The thrill of the hunt.
Because we pulled their teeth and their fingernails. Yeah. Anyway, so... When
Simon wasn't really good at hunting them either.
No, I wasn't good at hunting them. I'd trick them. I bored them. No, but I think I want to get the kid into sports, but I'm thinking like I don't know, like I was thinking about like it'd be fun to get him into like Formula One racing.
Well, I do want to get her. Same thing. I want to get her into MMA. I want her to be able to defend herself
and murder people
and give her confidence. I want her to have confidence.
Yeah, I want my kid to learn some sort of martial art too, mostly because it's for fitness, but also like a group, like it's like a connect. But I think I want him to learn something that's like I think I wanted to learn something with like a heavy philosophy behind it, because honestly, realistically, hopefully you never use that shit.
And you can help out around the house, chopping wood.
That's what I want. I want someone who can headbutt wood.
You're getting that chunk of land maybe, and you can have him go out there and just fucking chop.
Years ago, I came up with a character, which was Eddie Takanawa, a board-breaking late-night talk show host. And what he was he was just it was a Japanese talk show, and every guest that would come on, he would just, and I did not play Eddie, and he would just bring it, and he would just like, tell me about your movie, and they'd be like, oh, and he's like, and as they're doing it, he puts on the headband, he's like, It's like, just smash wood.
I hate to tell you this, Simon, but that is an actual show in Japan.
Yeah,
actually.
They're so much better than us.
Yeah, they got everything weird.
They got everything better than us.
If you can think it, they're doing it.
When I was a kid, I was into the karate. I like that. I thought that was cool.
Did you take lessons?
No. I did do kung fu for a bit though.
I was into
kung fu.
ninjas.
Ninjas. Oh, ninjas were big.
Yes.
Ninjas were a big thing because first for me for the turtles, that's where it started.
First, my buddy and I found a book about ninjas.
Yeah,
Where'd you find a book about
it was at a farmer's market.
That's where ninjas are.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. How much broccoli do you want?
It was very hard finding the guy. Very hard.
Yeah.
He was very stealthy.
Just hiding behind a bush. Buy the book. Buy the book.
And then we got like a throwing star.
Yeah.
And
nice.
Then we found a bamboo tree, so we cut it down.
Nice,
cut down other things to make like a blow dart.
Yeah, I had nunchucks. I used to make my own nunchucks and my own boken.
Yeah,
I used to make
tangled.
boken and nunchucks.
Nice.
Yeah, I was
Homemade nunchucks always got tangled.
much older than I should have been when I did that. You know, like it was one of those guys.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Like I always said that like I don't have anything on the internet that's going to come back and haunt me. I'm not one of those people. I don't have really anything. I don't have a sex scandal or anything. But someday someone's going to find.
Would you have a sex scandal even if the tape came out?
No, it wouldn't. Yeah, people would be
You
like,
think anybody's worried about
people
it?
are like he's just crying.
I don't need that guy yelling from the truck going, "Your comedy's great, but that's sex tape."
Yeah. But I realized that, like, if the only thing that would cancel me or at least destroy me is if anyone found out the pictures of me with all the swords I used to own. I owned way more swords than I needed to own. Like,
As a child or a young adult?
no, it was like a fucking 17-year-old, 18-year-old. Like, I had swords. I was full fucking dork, dude.
Did you have like a plan?
No, I didn't have a plan. That's the dumbest thing. I wasn't even a school slasher or stabber. I was just a guy who was like, swords are cool, right? Maybe I'll be a knight. And it was fucking
You were the
stupidest.
equivalent of like an American school shooter here in Canada.
Yeah,
you
the
only
Canadian
get
school
swords
swiper.
and knives.
But they're also like stage ready props, so they're not even like sharp. They're just like.
Oh.
I still have a rapier.
what?
A Toledo steel rapier.
I think he has a raper.
It's a cup hilted, a cup guard rapier, and
It's
I
a
have,
gigantic dildo.
My brother has a rapier like the one from the Princess Bride.
Oh, cool.
But he got that as a decoration. I have a katana blade, a katana sword, and then I made my own. Oh god. Full tang.
What do you
Full
fucking
tang, motherfuckers.
We're gonna need more vodka over here, please. More
Yeah,
vodka.
I made
Full
swords.
tang is when the blade goes through the handle.
It's when the tang that holds the blade goes through the handle and then gets cut, and then it's much more. They used to sell them in the 90s. These shitty like House of Knives, like
Cutco.
Tang.
I'm a Cutco
Other
salesman.
teenage-
Full tang,
yeah, you know.
Other teenage boys were into poo tang.
No.
He was into full tang.
I wasn't even into Wu Tang. Full tang ain't nothing to fuck with.
Yeah.
And then I learned metal, and then I carved a handle, and I carved a fucking guard and a suba. Fuck.
You're very crafty.
That's pretty crafty.
It's a
man.
lot of
The
going on.
things we use for the podcast, I'm like, where'd you get this? I was like, no, I just made this.
I
Yeah.
once made you know Batman's like arm thing with the things.
Yeah.
I once crafted one out of a KD box. Yeah, that's as
Really?
crafty as I got as a kid.
That's good though, because I used to make. This is how old I am. I used to make Star Trek Next Generation phasers out of old shampoo bottles. I used to make the phasers out of shampoo bottles.
Actually, that works.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
actually,
fucking
yeah.
work. It's
Yeah.
full legit, especially the first season when they had the big ones. Oh, that was easy, easy as shit
You
to
should
make.
make one for next podcast, and we'll.
I think I
take a
still
picture,
have one
put it on.
somewhere. Yeah, I think I was like, maybe I'll hand this down to my kid one day, and he can be
Make
like,
a
"What the
show
fuck's
number
wrong with
2.
you?" And the funny thing is by the time he's old enough to understand why that was stupid, we'll be in that. He'd be like, "That technology is so fucking behind." Like,
Yeah.
what are you, phasers? What are you fucking talking about?
Yeah.
Phasers. That sounds like a really bad rollerblading team, like a gang. We're the phasers.
That's when they brought back the women's like the skating around. in a
roller
circle.
derby.
Yeah, roller derby.
I used to
Yeah.
have a joke about that nobody ever got. And I was like, "Oh, roller derby's back, guys. Roller derby. You know that thing where women they roll around and they push each other and they're just brutal to each other, and that's back. So that's good. That explains why my wife has a black eye. She won't shut the fuck up while I'm watching roller derby." Stupid joke,
Yeah.
but it
That's
never
great.
worked. It never worked because it's like I don't know. I think not enough people were
Domestic
into roller
violence,
derby.
maybe?
Domestic violence.
Yeah.
I think it's a roller
But
derby
you
connection.
gotta try it. You gotta try it.
People don't like
Yeah.
roller derby.
You gotta
jokes.
fucking be out there.
There's
People don't like roller
jokes
derby.
you throw out there just because you love it and you hope to God one
Gets
day.
canceled because of the roller derby.
Back to the joke.
Oh my goodness! So you're a father.
Yeah.
You're a father. I think you're the only other dad we've had, other than Peter Calamus, I think as a kid. But you're the only other dad we've had on the podcast. Mm-hmm. So that's it. This is what it looks like. This is what fatherhood looks like.
Tired.
This is what fatherhood looks like in the
Tired,
2000s.
putting
One word
on,
answers.
slowly putting on weight, beard, messy hair.
Slowly. Yeah, you are slowly becoming me. I hadn't noticed that. It's like I didn't realize that was because I was like this before the kid.
Yeah.
So, are you enjoying? It's fun, right?
Oh yeah,
it's
I
good.
love every minute of it.
It's weirdly like enlightening.
Oh yeah, I recommend it to anybody. I mean, I was just telling a friend, you kind of get scared. You kind of get scared out of it. People, it's expensive, and sorry, closer.
Always closer.
Closer.
We want your wisdom.
So anyway, they always tell you to be scared of kids. It's expensive and stuff. But then when you have it, you're like, what the hell was I waiting for?
No. You know what my dad said to me? You know what my dad said to me?
It's the most joyous thing you can experience every day.
Yeah. My dad said to me, he's like, before we had a kid, before we were thinking about it, he goes, you will never be ready. Just so you know that. He goes, you will always think you need to be ready. He goes, do it or don't do it. He goes, but you'll never be ready. And my mom said something that really made a point to me. She goes, be aware of this. It is an amazing thing, but your life will change permanently in a good way, but be aware that your life is changing permanently because all of a sudden everything you are, because instinctually will now be about someone else. And it's a weird thing to explain. And so when people say to me, like, should I have a kid? I'm like, I can't tell you that, but you also won't know what you're missing unless you do it. So it's not like you're missing out because it's not like you know what it would be like to have a kid and then not. So I don't think everyone should have a kid.
I think they should.
Well, I think
everybody should. I mean, you're fulfilling the reason why you're on this earth.
I mean, we have a queen that lays eggs in our building. Yeah. So. Well, speaking of queens, what happens now to the rest of the hive in England? Do they all just die and they don't know where to bring their pollen back to? I don't know how it works.
No, she's in Antarctica right now in the Nazi caves.
She's in the Nazi caves?
She's in the Nazi caves with the Bell UFO. Yep.
I like how we started talking about the sweet, wonderfulness of being a father and then just turned into fucking lizard queen.
Because the queen is a hermaphrodite, so she is a father.
She is a father-mother.
She has both female and male organs.
Yeah, and
she's able to lay her own eggs.
And they're all in Charles, which is weird. Yeah. This is actually our first podcast post-Queen.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Wow. PQ.
2 minutes of silence.
The old PQ, 10 minutes. It's the old PQ podcast. And much like the Queen's funeral, people are starving to death during our podcast. But ours isn't costing $8 million. So the thing is like the monarchy is one of those things where it's interesting to me to see that it still exists. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where if you ever wonder how advanced humans have become, you just have to look at things like that, like hierarchical systems that make no sense. And I have a friend of mine. He's a very very smart person, but he's also a royalist. And I said to him once, I was like, okay, your daughter, all right, is she not as good as Queen or Princess Charlotte?
Cell phones off, please.
Hello, we're trying to have a fucking point here. God damn. Every time we do a podcast, it goes great, and then he just fucks it up with something. I don't know what he's doing, but he's not.
He's looking at dick pics.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's cleaning up the little baby Ryan.
Oh, that's pretty fucking funny. But then I said to him, I was like, so if you are for equality, you must be against that because it is unnecessary. It's ridiculous. And he's like, no, it's tradition. I go, fuck tradition. You're basically saying that because of where someone came from, because of who they came out of, they're better than you.
You mean German ancestry?
German ancestry, right? And our fucking uncle was a full-blown Nazi. Like, he legit was a Nazi. Yeah. He was like, hey, by the way, I'm a Nazi. We're not friends with them anymore? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, the Queen wasn't that bad. I mean, she wasn't that bad.
I don't have a problem with her.
Yeah.
I don't actually have a problem with any of the individuals in the royal family, except for Andrew. He's fucking creepy.
Yeah,
but I don't have any problem with
thought, for a family that's so about optics, I was like, why would you put him behind the casket?
Yeah, right?
If anything, he should have been behind a kid.
Call Turnbull, ladies and gentlemen.
There he goes, right? Ladies and gentlemen, that's why I brought him on the show, right?
Yep.
But the thing is, like, with that, too, is to me, it's like, I look at it and I go, well, as an egalitarian, as someone who wants equality, if you want people to be equal, if you really believe that, then you can't be for that, because that is the prime example of saying that certain people are above other people for nothing based other than their lineage. I mean, even economically, if certain people have more money than other people, you can argue.
But what are you talking about? They were chosen by God.
Oh, right, that's right. I was actually thinking about calling what's my next album, "The Divine Right of King," because I think it would be hilarious.
That would be a good one.
Just have me just sitting there, just the Divine Right of King. I'm seriously thinking about writing an hour about the monarchy because I think it's so fucking ridiculous. But Doug Stanhope, a brilliant comedian, has beaten me to it and done a much better bit. I think he uses the line at some point in Norway, "You bootlicking supplicants." I'm like, well, it doesn't get better than that. Yeah. So I don't know, but bootlicking supplicants.
So you want equality for everybody, and you don't believe people should be above?
I don't think anyone should be above anyone except for me. I should be above everybody. Yeah. I mean, clearly. Look, well, we're above people right now in the Deadly Heights studio.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, is there a reason for a monarchy? No. But is it a way to kind of bond everybody for one cause? Yes.
Well, that's the thing is like, so, I mean, the question is it comes down to evolution of human psychology and evolution of social behavior. And are we at a point where, have you read the book Sapiens?
No.
It's a fucking great book. I think you'd really enjoy it. And I think I've talked about it on the podcast before. Yeah. And it just basically goes from the beginning of Homo sapien, like where we are now, until where we were until where we are, and why we succeeded.
So about 6,000 years ago?
4.5.
Yeah, 4.5.
Right after the arc. Anyway, so but it basically goes to why we succeeded and why other species didn't succeed. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is we needed all these things. These were all very important things, and I think those instincts still exist in us to have these things.
Well,
you know,
I know what you're saying, but sometimes I wonder if the wrong species survived.
Oh, because fucking absolutely! Are you kidding me?
Because I know with Neanderthals, they find in their burials no jewelry, no objects, but with every single Homo sapien, there's jewelry.
Yeah.
So it's like almost like the wrong species one, the one that likes having stuff. Survived, the one that didn't.
And this is why, and I've said this before, this is why sociopaths and people that are actually better humans, they're not better people, but they're better humans. They're more adept at succeeding. If you don't have any feelings and you are out to just, look, if you go out on a wildebeest hunt with 5 other cave people and you kill those 5 cave people, you get all that wildebeest and you go back and those 5 other cave people's spouses are not, they're open. But if you bring them back, you share them out, it doesn't make sense. If you know you can kill those 5 cave people, you then succeed, you then achieve. So for the sociopath, for the person who doesn't care, and much for the psychopath, if you don't care, you are much more likely to be successful. Because I mean, I worry about emails I sent 20 years ago when I go to sleep. I'm fucking useless. I would die. If there was an apocalypse tomorrow, I'd be dead in a week. I wouldn't, if and that would be body fat alone.
And you're like, man, I didn't delete those texts.
Exactly. The whole time it'd be like, so the server's wiped.
That's on the record forever.
And I just like wait to find out if the people that I think I upset are zombies yet. It's like, oh, he's a zombie. Okay. He probably doesn't. Do you remember? But like, if you're a sociopath, you're like, oh, I can't wait to kill everybody. They're not zombies yet? Who gives a shit?
And you tend to drive a BMW. That's what they found. They found BMW drivers are sociopaths.
I've had 2.
Yeah.
I've had 2.
They tend to be sociopaths.
I've had 2 and I'm a wreck.
Are you serious?
I've had 2, yeah.
BMWs?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm doing really well.
Yeah, he is.
And,
he's doing really well.
I didn't say they were running. Until that I sit in and go. I drive to gigs and one of those. What does it say about people that drive Kias? They cry? Is that what it is?
Not anymore. Kias are pretty nice looking.
Actually, mine's all right. I don't mind it. I got a pretty nice Kia.
You got a Kia now?
I got a Kia, yeah.
Kias are great because they're easy to fix. They're cheap.
They are easy to fix and they're cheap, and they will allow me to finance them. So that's really, people are like, why did you choose that vehicle? I'm like, they said yes. And
did you try to post your Kia on that fancy new the new car rental thing where you can go take somebody's car?
Turo?
Yeah.
No, I should.
Could
do
you
that.
imagine posting that on there?
My
It's like
mom-
Ferrari, Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Kia.
My mom has a really cool vintage 1991 Toyota MR2. It's in mint shape, like it's the turbo MR2. Like there are not a lot of them. So
I'm just gonna nod like I know what you're talking about.
But like she should do
Totally.
that because like people would pay, because people like my age, like that was the car that was on your wall, like the 300ZX, the MR2, the Supra, the original Supra, like those were the cars we grew up with.
Next to your swords?
Next to swords.
Next to your
It
swords,
was the
yeah.
Supra, swords.
Yeah.
It was the 3 S's. Supra, swords, and SpongeBob. Anyways.
And then a homemade phaser in the corner.
And a homemade phaser.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Shampoo bottle.
I did some legit dork shit. Like, but I embrace that now. Like at the time, I was
awesome.
like, those are the only people who would be my friends. And now I was like, oh, they were. I get it, because even now I'll see, like, sometimes you'll see like on Reddit or something a post, and it'll be like, oh, this is the girl I've been talking to on the internet for 2 years, and I just met her, and you look at them and you're like, oh, you're dorks, but like you're not harmful.
No.
Like you're kind people.
They're watering down our genetics.
Well, of course they're watering down the genetics, but they're not fucking. They're not fucking. But like you're looking at them and you go, well, you're just, something happens. What did Ivan Decker say once? He's like there was a kid that came to Science World. He was wearing like a sweater vest and he had a briefcase, and you're like, it's just full of pencils because he's homeschooling. But he's also a good kid. Like he's a sweetheart. Like, so like as a parent, I want my son to be kind and empathetic and open and generous, and I want to indulge those things, but I also want to protect him against the fact that the world, it doesn't accept. It's difficult if you're different, but it's also great if you're different.
No,
so
I'm
it's
going to sit my son down in front of Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
I'm meant to rape, pillage, conquer the other people's women.
You be that.
Yeah.
You be that now.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Dad? I'm drinking because I'm not that. Just eating chips. I'm this. Don't be this. Be that guy.
Yeah. Bad example, good example.
And he's just like wearing a loincloth to school. Mr. King, your son, yes, again with the swords. Where did he get them from? I have no idea. I have no idea.
Was it a full tang though?
It was full tang.
I need to know.
Full tang.
I gotta know.
It's gonna be my porn movie.
Yeah.
Full tang. You know what it's time for? We haven't done this in a while. It's time for Let's Get
I'm officially scared.
Okay. I like this because
I feel like this is the beginning of like every Eli Roth movie.
Let's get hostile.
I'm about to die.
What this is I was on the internet one day and I stumbled upon a random topic generator for people with social problems, and I thought, well, what a great thing for a podcast is a random topic generator. So you can set it to anything.
I know this.
You know this. You know this.
You're
Okay,
using it
well,
right
then
now?
it's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's just that I've watched the podcast.
Oh, have you? Okay. Oh, holy shit!
Yeah, I know, yeah.
We had no idea.
I am one of 3.
Oh, wow. You're a Borg.
Yeah, I know. And I'm one of the sexy Borg with the big tits.
Sexy big-titted Borg.
Big-titted Borg right here.
I did not fuck a Borg. Anyway,
7 of 9. That's what I'm getting looking at you. Ow!
She's a 10, but she's also the queen of the hive.
Our energy changes when we find out someone listens to the podcast.
I know, we're genuinely excited.
What the fuck?
But I also think it's hilarious that like the only people we've had on are people who listen to the podcast. Like we're just like you're listening, right? Because I wish you can't come in. It's like a tree fort up here in Deadly Heights Studio.
Yeah.
What's our random, Mikey?
What's your worst job interview story? I said that in a weird way, but
Anything since COVID?
It's just like buffering. Worst job.
I don't really have anything bad. I mean,
Did you do a
got
faux
pretty
pas?
solid? No,
Have you ever interviewed for a job you just didn't want and you realized it when you were in there?
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, you were just like in it and you're like, fuck this
Halfway
place.
through, I was like, I really don't want this.
want
And
this
I don't
job.
know why I applied. I don't know what the hell I was thinking.
That feeling of
And I'm
just
just
like,
crying in front of the guy, and he's like, "Why are you crying?"
it's fine.
It's just because I just really wanted an inclusive workplace.
I just wanted to work at Lush so bad and now I don't want to work at Lush anymore.
It's always been my dream to make soap.
I thought it'd be more Fight Club and less Sephora.
And you said there's no medical plan? That's great.
Have you had you've had many jobs, have you not, Michael?
Oh yeah.
And what is your worst job interview
I
story?
think my first job interview. I don't think my mic's working very well, but you can hear me.
I can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me.
People aren't listening for you, Mike. And
We'll just do the comedian technique where we repeat what you're saying.
just say it to us, and then we'll say it back in a way that's entertaining.
I think my first job interview was for like a cruise ship greeter, and they're like, "Have you ever dealt with an angry person?" And I said, "I have 2 sisters, so twice a month."
Oh, wow.
I did not get the job.
Yeah, because their cycles
Wow.
sync up. Everyone knows that. It's once a month. It was a trick
Wow, I
question.
wonder why. And then
Trick question, Mike.
they wrote in the margins impulse control issues.
2 sisters. So
Also very sweaty.
So do we give the job to the misogynist or nope?
To the greeter.
To the Grecian. Hey,
And what's with the fanny pack?
hey, welcome to Vancouver. Any of you chicks on the rag? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. You would have made a great tour person on the cruise.
I did a.
So, by a show of hands, how many women are on their periods? There's sharks in the ocean. There's sharks in the ocean, folks.
We got your own private
Yeah.
cabins for you because you gotta be away from the village.
If you look out to the right, there's a pack of sharks following us. It's rare to see, but somebody's on their period.
I didn't have. It's not a terrible it's not a terrible interview story because I've not had a real job since 2002, so I haven't interviewed in a long time. But I did interview in '99.
That's nice.
I did interview in '99. It's not.
It is,
I've seen
man.
my savings account.
Yeah, but
you
here's
know.
the thing, though.
Yeah.
At least you can be looking back at your life and be like, I pursued it.
That's true. That's true. And that is a quote that I actually. There was one quote. Weirdly enough, it's a Johnny Depp quote, and he talks about why he did all his movies like
Yeah.
Crybaby and shit.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like, why did you throw that at me? quit biting my finger. I love that quote.
Why my finger very much?
That's great.
Just nothing less than anything. And,
That's a new one.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Now watch as I play a horrible guitar solo in a commercial for.
But he has this quote, and they asked him why he did movies like Edward Scissorhands and everything when he could have been at that time.
Right.
You know, even before Keanu Reeves was Speed, he could. And he goes, because at the end of it all, there has to be some time without compromise. And I'm like, bam! That's why I'll be a failure as a comic. But what I did was so in 1999. I interviewed for a company called Fido, which sells cell phones.
Is that what that is?
Well, they
Thanks.
don't know. There's an American viewer.
Oh, is that? That's right. Yeah, sorry about that.
He's in prison, but he does get to listen to this on the phone.
Yeah.
And in the interview, I realized because I've always been I'm pretty good at bullshitting. Like, I can kind of get away with I can kind of fucking talk about it. But then in the interview, the guy's like, he's an English guy, and he's an older English guy, and he starts talking about soccer, football. And he goes, "Do you like football?" And I was like, "Yeah." I don't fucking like football. And he's like, "I've never seen it in my life," right?
Yeah.
He's like, "What's your favorite team?" And I go, "Well, I'd done a play at one point, and I remember the character like Sheffield Wednesday Sheffield Wednesday goes, "Oh, fuck off." I'm like, it was like 10 minutes of me nail-bitingly terrified of I'm going to say something, and this guy's going to make me like, "Yeah, there's 15 of them on the field. What the fuck are you talking about?" Anyway, I got the job. And I was like, that was when I realized, I'm like, oh, the power of lying. I have it in me.
That's all an interview is. You just lie.
What's my greatest weakness? Kryptonite. There was a comic named Dwayne Goad who used to perform in a suit. He still does, and he would go to town. And as far as I know, this is a true story. And he would routinely just apply for jobs as something to do. And he would show up in his suit for a banker's job. Yeah. He would just lie on his resume, get an interview, and be like, "I don't like your bank. You're not good. You're in a bad bank. Okay, because there's too many ones. Okay, first of all, just shit like that. You would just fuck with people."
That's always a tricky question in a job interview. What's your biggest weakness? Because you got to give something that's actually a weakness, but not going to lose.
What is your biggest weakness, Mikey?
I said in my job interviews, I say counting large numbers in my head. Because there's a solution. I
can't fucking do numbers at all.
So that's my go-to.
My go-to is chocolate cake. Yeah.
Are you gonna laugh on that?
Oh yeah, you know I'm going to be late for work.
But you just routinely come in with chocolate around your mouth. I told you. I warned you. And he's like, what? He's scrambling around for insulin pen. What's going on with this guy?
Don't show up for a week just because of cake.
Okay, they had a sale at the Braga, and look, I told you, this is my thing.
You signed up for this.
Yeah.
You're like, I need help. They just open your locker and just sprinkles fall out. What the fuck? I told you. You're like, well, he did say. Yeah. Fair enough.
Is that a cake frosting in your locker?
Yes. No, it's Coke. It's Coke. It isn't, Carl. It's frosting. No. He's got donuts in his pants. No one's ever said that before. I don't think. They maybe have. Let's do another random.
Let's do this. What's your biggest pet peeve? Or if you don't have one, what's a recent pet peeve?
Recent one would be saying that the Queen is a servant to the people. I was like, wow, she's the best paid servant ever.
Yeah, she's not exactly a servant.
Ever in the history of mankind.
You ever have a butler you can't make eye contact with?
It's like, what is your union and how can I apply?
I don't think they know what the word servant means.
Well, I know, they're always like, oh, she was a great servant to the country. It's like, what?
Huh? How the fuck? A servant gets...
That's my recent pet peeve.
You know what a servant gets? 18%.
Yeah.
That's what they get, if they're lucky.
Yeah.
All right,
she really served the country. I'm like,
fuck served the country. She was worth $500 million and never had a job.
She worked every day. That's what they say. She worked every day. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. She was alive.
Okay, yeah. Hey, could you sign this piece of paper? Yeah, I guess so.
Jesus Christ.
I guess I could find the time in my 24-hour day to sign a piece of paper.
I don't like people are like, oh, the royalty, the monarchy brings in so much money. No, it fucking doesn't. It fucking doesn't. People are going there. Look, when I saw all the royal buildings in England, I went to see the buildings. I went to see the history because it's a fucking museum. Like all the shit they stole from the rest of the world. That's what people go to see. They don't go to see some lady who might show up once in a while, has a weird way of folding her hair. Fuck that. It's over. You know what they should have done? It would have been a great thing because she ruled longer than any monarch ever, right? At 70 years. And she was 96 when she died. She should have been the last one. That should have been it. It would have been a great way to go out and be like, look, because when she became monarch, it was at a time when it was still kind of like back then.
You're not curious to see what King Charles does?
King Charles is going to do weird shit with his sausage fingers, but he's going to fucking... King Charles is going to... I posted
Hey, now we know why he got Diana.
Hey!
With the fingers like that. Hello.
I got trouble. The fingerprints on the fucking on
5-finger special and something
the
else.
fingerprints on the broken brakes of the Mercedes were really big. That's how they figured it out. Really very wide fingers, like twice the size fingers of a normal finger. No, but like the thing is like I think that, like, I got in trouble for this joke on Twitter a little bit, and I think it's a funny joke. And I was like, people are complaining about, because the queue, right, to see the Queen. It's like people are complaining they're waiting a long time to see the dead Queen. How do you think of Charles felt? I mean, it's about time. It's about bloody time. It's about time.
That's great, man.
I had a couple of zingers there with a dead old lady.
Do you post one-liners on TikTok ever like that, or no?
Not really. I should do. I'm not good at TikTok. We were supposed to do a live before this, and we didn't fucking do it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't do
You can do
TikTok.
it in between. You had a pretty
You could
good
do it in
one last
between.
time.
I'm bad at TikTok. I
don't
try.
Better. You have 10,000
But it's just a lot of. It's just. I mean, I look at TikTok and I'm like, it's literally like it just makes me sad.
Yeah.
It
Well,
literally
that's the
of
point.
all the social media things, it makes me sad.
Sad, yeah.
That's the point.
I mean, I'm
It's supposed
active on
it's
Twitter.
elevating the dumbest of us.
It is.
And it's just shit on repeat. It's the same joke again and again and again.
And it's like okay, it's half naked women, dudes who are
All right,
telling
hey,
you.
let's stop. Okay,
Okay, all right,
let's stop
pretty good.
there. I mean, let's not criticize
Yeah.
half naked women.
But it is
Let them
it's
do their
it's
thing.
Giga Chads. It's Giga Chads who were like, never say sorry, always bite through glasses. It's always like that shit. These are the rules.
Yeah.
Always, whenever a man enters the room, kick him in the nuts and talk shit about monkeys. Whatever the fuck it is.
We need more guys who are into full tang.
Full tang.
Full tang.
I should do a sword TikTok.
stop. Go all the way. Full tang.
How fucking great! You know what I should do? I should start a YouTube channel, be like Simon's Sword Chat, and it's just like, hey guys, okay, I've got a bunch of swords here for us to look at.
Yeah.
It's just like sword chat.
You know what's the sad thing? Somebody
Yeah.
probably has it.
They probably fucking do.
probably have it.
You know what do you watch on YouTube? What's your favorite thing to watch on YouTube? Full tang.
Favorite
Full
thing?
tang. Full tang.
Full tang.
Full
Hey,
tang.
full tang. Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Full,
Full
tang.
tang.
The people who gave you half tang now bring you full tang.
And with the full tang, you can cut through a bottle of Pepsi.
Are there delinquents outside your home causing trouble, knocking over your trash cans? Full tang.
Watch as we try to cut through a shoe with the handle blade.
How dangerous is it for
I
him
used to
to
cut
grab?
the rope with that.
I like
From
it.
the
This is going to be the
demonstration.
this is going to be the thumbnail for the next episode. I like how you went and got a kitchen knife. I don't know why you went and got it. But you're like, I gotta show him. I gotta show Simon I'm on board.
Yeah, we
It's
got
like you got the job, Mike. You're fine.
It's show and tell time.
What's your biggest weakness? Half tank. I don't even have a full tank.
Yeah,
I got a full tank.
but you're right about TikTok. I mean,
It's just like whatever.
yeah, like it'll be like the equivalent of let's say a comedian goes up and tells a really great joke and gets a huge laugh. Then the next comedian goes up and tells
Says
the
the
same
same
joke. Then the next comedian goes up and tells the same joke, and people are still laughing. It's
Yeah.
like, why?
Yeah.
Or the ones where there's a video playing and a person reacting to it.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah.
I had someone got more views on their reaction to my joke than my joke got. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And she's like, and I'm like, and people are like, you just are so funny. And I'm like, no, she's not funny.
Yeah, but have you seen the people lip syncing comedians' jokes? Now
Guy
we're
did that to
lip
me.
syncing
He
jokes.
fucking did that to me. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing, dude?
Yeah.
And the people are like, they don't give a shit. And then, the other thing I like too is they just take movies and they just cut them up and they put them on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I've watched movies on TikTok now. Like I've literally watched movies on TikTok.
Yeah.
I've just got through like, what happens in Top Gun 2? I better watch it. Because I'm too lazy to fucking download it or whatever.
Yeah, but Schindler's List went like that on TikTok.
go like that, yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
truth and killing.
And the weird thing is, it was nowhere near 6 million hits like everyone says.
Yeah.
Anyway, can't get away without a Holocaust joke, can you?
Yeah, no.
You gotta do a Holocaust joke. All right. Right. You got another one, Mikey?
One more. Sorry. Do you follow your heart or your head?
To the buffet?
Heart,
My heart or my head? Oh, that's a difficult one. Because my head is where the brain is.
Yeah, I know.
But my
I know.
head
There's
itself,
a lot. Yeah.
But my head itself is not the brain. My head
Yeah.
is just a case for the brain.
But if you get a heart transplant, you do
Right.
start craving new foods.
You do.
Yeah, so
serious?
it's like a memory thing.
Yeah, your
Really?
heart
Well,
wants
with
things.
anything, with any transplant,
The heart wants what it
You're
wants.
just casually dropping these profane facts.
there's people who've gotten like kidneys and they started craving like a certain type of food, and then they find out the other
Yeah.
person that's all they ate.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I got a dick transplant. I'm gay now. I mean, still.
I'm so hungry.
The dick wants what it wants.
Ravenous.
That's a weird thing too to think that, like, because I've heard that, like, that some people, like, they get heart transplants or whatever, and then it does change their, because the thing is like, you know, your brain theoretically your brain is you. Right? Like, that is what you are. Which is really interesting to explain to my kid. I had to explain to her, like, your brain is you. The rest is just, well, how you get around. He goes, no. And I go, yeah, this is really hard, high concept shit. But your brain is you. The rest of it is how you get around. But then also, your brain connects with the rest of it. And it gets information from the rest of it. That's how it becomes you.
Right.
So if all of a sudden, everything, case in point, like, if you who you are, if you were 6'5", who you are is influenced by the fact you're 6'5". Right. But if you were 5'6", who you are is influenced by the fact that you're 5'6".
Yeah,
so your physical body influences.
And you know, at 5'6", Tinder is off limits to you.
Totally
It's just not happening. Not happening.
No guys under 6 foot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's why you got to go on mini Tinder. Mini Tinder's way better.
Inder?
Tinyder. Tinyder. It's got a Y in there, and it's Tinyder. It's for everyone. It's like nothing on the top shelf here, guys.
Yeah.
And
I had a cornea transplant. Nothing happened.
did you?
Yeah.
Oh, really? You had a cornea transplant?
Cornea transplant.
Wow.
Keratoconus. That usually affects.
But you
older
were
people.
afterwards. You were seeing things differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have a cornea transplant, so now you've got perfect vision. Then
No, they didn't do it well. So scar tissue. Just
That's
kind
good.
of-
Yeah.
that's something you want people to fuck
Canadian
up
healthcare.
when they're lasering your
They
eye.
left a stitch in. When me and Lindsay were dating, I kept like twitching. She's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "They left a stitch in my eye." I just forgot about it.
It is an Eli Roth movie.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't realize that.
And Lindsay is a hell of a woman. Yeah, be on a date with a guy who's like, his eyes twitching like crazy.
I'm normal.
Yeah. So what do you? Where do you live? Huh?
These aren't my eyes. Okay. All right.
Tell me about yourself. You got any family that'll miss you?
So don't come up on this side.
Yeah.
Get real angry. I didn't know you had a cornea transplant. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh.
That must suck.
Yeah, I didn't know
Like,
that
that must
either.
have hurt.
It was fine. It was uncomfortable. You're awake for it. I got anesthesia, but you're in a room full of old people doing it, and they don't even want the anesthesia. They're like, just fucking do it.
Wow, old people are hard like that. They just bite on a stick and
That's
blame
why
the
they're
Jews.
the greatest generation. The greatest generation.
Get a UI, and then they're fine.
Somebody grab my cane. I'll bite on that.
I'll tell you this right now. You don't win a world war by not being a racist. I'll tell you that right now. And I'm not saying all of them were. I'm just saying it's part of it. All right?
right.
Yeah, you don't win any wars without being a racist. That's why no one wins wars nowadays. Everyone's like, I don't want to fucking offend anybody. I used to have a joke about that. It's like, oh man, people say the N-bomb. They dropped the N-bomb in Iraq. And everyone's like, well, now it's weird. I don't want to fucking be around this. Like, yeah, this is awkward.
And that's the mother of all bombs.
Fuck. All right. Well, I guess that's probably the podcast. I guess
That's the
probably
podcast,
the
right?
It's a lot of
What
fun.
would you like? What would you like? Would you like? Where can I tell people to come and see your comedy? Because you're very, very funny,
I
man.
got nowhere right now.
We did not talk about this, but you are very, very funny.
I was at Yuck Yucks a week and a half ago.
Okay, well that's
So-
good. Unless
I got
this
no
podcast
shows.
comes
For the
out,
time
we can.
travelers.
I got no shows coming up right now.
Well, we got no shows coming up, but we got to get you on the Dark Show. We'd love to have you on the
Yeah.
Dark
Yeah,
Show.
you'd be
That'd
perfect.
fantastic.
Yeah.
As soon as we find a home, the home for the Dark Show is gone.
I was supposed to be on the August 30th one, and that made me sad
Yeah.
when I saw the lineup.
Yeah,
I was like, I guess I didn't make the cut.
I don't know what happened there.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I think
Coming
it's
from a
that
guy who makes swords, it kind of made sense that I didn't make the
I think it's that Simon King guy didn't want to give you a 5 and wanted to give you a 10. But maybe he wanted to save you. Maybe he wanted to save you that
No, it's
the
all
lineup
good.
of
I
the next one.
I didn't take any offense by it. so
And
don't
you
worry.
should have, because I
But would
totally
love-
forgot. You're a very bad person.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
No,
But
you should have held my feet to the fire and be like, "Hey, fuck bag," and I would have been like, "I didn't mean to do that."
I don't do that because I know people are busy.
Yeah, no, I'm
Why
not.
the hell would I get
No,
upset?
I'm just hanging out with Mike in a room, talking about his fucking corneas. Oh my god, right?
That's pretty busy. It takes
I
up time.
get
Show
it.
nothing.
Mike, quit showing us stuff.
Full pay.
Here's a pencil.
Full
I have
10 corneas.
I have a pen.
That's where he brought the knife over. He's like, "Check this out. I'm gonna do my own." I was like, "All right, fuck." Well, you got social media. You got social
Yeah,
media.
I'm a Hot Carlito on Twitter.
Hot Carlito. There you go.
Yeah.
Hot Carlito.
Follow me.
Follow him.
Yeah.
Do it. He's very funny. As you've seen, I don't have to tell you. You fucking saw it.
Until I watch this back and cringe at everything I said.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry.
Ooh, why did I say that?
We leave in the good stuff and edit out the fucking Oscar-worthy shit. Mikey, anything you wanted to say?
No, not yet. We'll got some shows coming up soon, but
Yeah,
Nothing
we'll talk
else.
about them when
Talk
they
about
happen.
them when they happen.
Talk about
Yeah.
that. Mikey and I might go on the road, and if we're on the what happened there? It's totally screwed up my voice there for some reason. I don't even know why. Okay.
It's like when you hear Gilbert Gottfried's actual voice.
Just talking really weird. Don't even know why. Okay, George.
You're listening to 10:40 a.m.
This went all H. John Benjamin for no reason. Mike and I are going to go on the road. Maybe we'll do a live podcast on the road. Maybe we will. Where are you guys going? Where are you? Do you want to come? Do you want us to come to you? Do you want us to come to you? Tell us if you want. If you're in Canada, we're not getting papers for Mike to travel across the state. He's got to get tested for rabies. It's fucking remarkable. If you're in Canada, let us know. www.skpodcast@gmail.com. Maybe we'll come to your town. Maybe we'll do a live podcast there. If you're the listener in town, you'll get a free ticket. If there's more than one listener, you will not. We need to make money. Come on, Mike's got corneas to pay for. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Thank you so much for watching the podcast. Please rate, review, and subscribe. We are featured on Amazon Podcast of the Month. I think it might be done now because it was last month, but fuck it. Hey, just go there and click a thing. Anyway, that doesn't fucking. Thank you very much, Carl Turnbull.
Thank you, Simon.
Thank you very much, Greenwood. That's what's wrong this week.